All right. Good morning and welcome. All right, let's take a moment. We're going to start standing today. I feel like it's a nice switch from our other classes. So, shoulders width apart with your feet or having them together. It's whatever feels most comfortable for you. Oh, no access to a mic? No problem. Just come and enjoy the flow. All right, so it's really important whenever we start our practice, we want to feel most comfortable where we're starting. So be that shoulders width apart or feet together. If your feet are separated, please take a moment and look down. Make sure that they're nice and straight. We all have that natural way that we stand. Take a moment, soften through the knees, relax your lower back. Lifting up through the crown of the head, we let our shoulders hang down that little bit more. Now reach your fingers towards the earth, palms facing forward. We can keep our eyes open, or we can close our eyes and turn the focus inward to our breath. As we stand here in mountain pose, I encourage you to shift the weight through your feet. So maybe you take a moment and lift the toes and then bring them back to the ground, or you shift forward and back or side to side, and we're just building that connection to the ground. We're tuning into how our body feels. We're relaxing through the shoulders. Maybe you take a moment and you check in on the forehead and the jaw, softening every part of your body while we lengthen through our spine. Remember, as we inhale and exhale, we want to allow our belly to soften and expand. Nice deep breaths here. And we'll start with some opening of our shoulders by lifting those arms up on an inhale. And then exhale, bend through the elbows and draw them close to your ribs. Squeeze those shoulder blades together. Let the shoulders hang down. And then we'll inhale and lift up. You can even look up if you'd like. And then exhale, squeezing the shoulders. Inhale up. We'll do 5 in total. Just a nice flow happening here. If you want to get some balance going on the last 2, you can lift up onto those toes if you feel encouraged to do so, and then come back down onto the whole foot. Beautiful. One more. And then come back down, squeeze those shoulder blades together. And we'll do one final lift. Reach through those fingers, and then we're going to fold from our hips. Relax everything down. Maybe you bend into the knees. Let your head hang. Relax that lower back. Relax the head, neck, and shoulders. Taking a moment to release through the whole spine. And then starting to engage our core. We'll lift up into what we call a flat back. So we'll inhale and we'll look out so our back is nice and long. Hands on the shins maybe. And then exhale, come all the way up, squeezing the core and the glutes. Beautiful. All right, let's just start moving into our shoulders right away. So we'll bring those arms up and then closing them. Maybe that right arm's on top. We're going to bend at the elbows. Bring the arms up, fingers to the sky. Now we can keep our hands here, or we can complete that wrap, touching the palms together. Couple of options here as well. You can sink into your legs for a little chair pose if you want to burn your legs a little bit. If you want to challenge your balance, you can cross one of the legs over. Maybe the left leg comes over, touching with the toes. You could even sink down into this position. You could balance on one leg if that's in your practice. Remember, standing here in a beautiful mountain pose and working on lifting our fingers up towards the sky while pressing our shoulders down is such a wonderful option. We want to meet ourselves where we are today, remembering that every day is going to feel different. All right, really focus on lifting up through those fingers and pressing down with those shoulders. One more breath here. And now release those arms, unwrap them, reach the fingers out to the sides, and then squeeze those shoulder blades, lace the fingers behind the back, and drop the chin towards the chest. Really focus on squeezing your shoulder blades together. If you'd like, you can kind of tilt your neck from side to side, feeling a little bit of a release here, or just hold, drawing that chin towards the chest. Releasing the arms, roll those shoulders back, let them find a nice neutral position. All right, lifting the arms up, let's move into the other side. So maybe this time that left arm's on top. Connect the elbows, then bend the arms so the fingertips reach the sky. Our forearms will touch here. Again, if you want, you can complete that twist, bringing those palms together, remembering that focus is on lifting the fingers up and pressing the shoulders down. We can sit into a chair position if we'd like to burn our legs a little bit. We could shift our weight to our left leg and cross that right leg over to challenge our balance. Or we could even sink down into that leg and lift that right leg up off the ground. It's really going to be up to you and how you feel today. That main focus should be on our shoulders opening. So check in. Can you lift your fingers and elbows up a little bit more and press your shoulders down? Remember to breathe all the way down through the belly. We'll take one more breath here. And then we'll release. Unwrap the arms, reach them out nice and long. And then again, squeezing those shoulder blades together, lacing the fingers behind the back. We can drop the chin towards the chest and stay here. Or if you want, you can insert a forward fold. So folding from the hips, and then we let the arms hang. There's so many options for your practice. So really choosing the variation that works best for you. We want to listen to ourselves and our body. That's our goal in every practice. While we're standing, we can always choose to lift our arms a little bit away from our back if that feels good. That gives us that same sensation as being folded forward. We'll take one or two more breaths here. If you're folding forward, we'll release those arms first. Then we'll inhale and look up and out, flat back, and then exhale, coming up. Releasing those arms. If we're standing, roll the shoulders back. Let's just stretch the other way. Give ourselves a nice hug. Just reach those arms around, stretching out the upper back and shoulders. And then open, and then we'll do the other side. Other arm on top. Beautiful work today. All right, open, release. Let's lift up. Everyone together. Inhale, lift and lengthen. And then exhale, fold from your hips. So really focus on finding length through the hips. Maybe you relax that lower back a little more by bending through the knees. Remember to relax the head, neck, and shoulders. So hanging down, looking between your legs or at your shins if your feet are together. And again, we'll do that inhale, looking up and out, flat back, touching the hands, the shins. Exhale all the way up. Really squeezing through the glutes and the core here. All right, let's get a little bit of strength going, a little bit of opening through our legs here. We're going to turn on our mats to come into a warrior. So if you know what that is, feel free to pop right into it. You can hold it for a little bit longer. Otherwise, join me in placing. Okay, your right foot is straight. All right, your left foot is going to be 45 degrees. We can have one line between our feet like this, or we can have some nice space. Okay, so having our heels on two lines gives us a bit more space in our hips here. All right, this is going to be up to you. How long you are is also up to you. This is beautiful. Hips are going to be turned to match our rear foot direction, and we're going to turn our torso to straight. Now we have three options with the arms. We could just keep them in front. We could lift them up overhead, be that nice and long, making sure our shoulders stay down. The arms could be pretty wide, or we can have our hands to the heart. As we're here, we want to choose the variation that works best for us. If our shoulders are feeling tight, please bring the hands to the heart and relax a little bit. Check in. Is your knee over your ankle? So we want to focus on having our groin area nice and open, and it's just our upper body that is turning for that warrior stance. We're going to just flow through a couple of postures here. So it's up to you how hard you want to take it or how much you want to push. We're just going to open our hips up and bring our arms out. Now you can straighten your front leg to give yourself a little bit of a break, or you can keep bent for a couple of breaths. Just try to find a nice neutral position for 2 breaths. This is going to be our big burn for our legs. Open up your hips. This is the focus I want you to have, is opening up your hip area to keep the groin in line. Now straighten the leg and just tilt from your hips. That's it. You can stay right here, nice straight back. If it's in your practice and you want to keep folding all the way down, feel free. Okay, this is such a great pose here. As long as we have that straight spine, we're winning. Okay, inhale coming up. Relax the arms. Whew. Roll those shoulders. We're going to realign our feet if we had them a little bit wider so we can do a forward fold. Remember, we're just going to do this sequence on the other side, and then we're going to come and sit on our mats. So keep that in mind as we push through. Bring your toes in so that they turn a little bit towards the center here. This helps keep our knees in line as well. All right, one more time, we're going to inhale and lift up. Changing that stretch in the back of our legs, we're going to fold forward from our hips. Beautiful work. Now really release that back, release the head, neck, and shoulders. Find that stretch through the hamstrings. We'll do one more breath here. And then we'll inhale and look up and out again. Really use your core here. That's the key. And then exhale, come up all the way. Nice flat back. Yes, beautiful. Okay, we're going to do the other side, and then we're going to come and sit on our mats and take a nice rest. All right, so again, you're going to have your left foot straight and your right foot is 45 degrees. All right, maybe a little bit more. Focus in on having the groin area open. Okay, so we're using the inner thigh muscles. The length of your stance is entirely up to you. Turning from your waist. So leave your hips open and turn from your torso. You can have those arms up overhead. You can have them nice and wide, hands to the heart, or even just have them in a nice circle out in front. It's really going to be up to you. Taking a few breaths, make sure that your knee is over your ankle. Nice, beautiful footwork. Feel both feet connected to the ground, just as if you were in warrior. Now open your torso to the side, relax those arms down or extend them out if they were at the heart. Straightening that leg or holding with that knee in line. We can open up our right toes just a little bit. Almost there. Remember, just one little triangle and we're done. So straighten that front leg if it's bent, and then keep that focus on nice straight spine so that we can fold forward. Remember, you can reach all the way down if you want. If we have a smaller stance, we're just going to fold a little bit. We're feeling a nice stretch through our side body here, and then we'll release. Coming up, relax those arms down, roll the shoulders back. That's it for our standing work right now, okay? That's it. So take a deep breath, find your center, get a nice wide stance, bring those toes in. We're just going to relax our lower back here. So inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Relax everything down. Bend through the knees if you'd like. Really let your body hang. We're always working on trying to open up our back, remembering that these forward folds are not just about that lengthening of our legs. Our lower back is a big part of the equation. All right, one more breath. And then same thing. Inhale, flat back, look up and out at your screen. And then exhale all the way up. You did it. All right, let's take a moment. Let's come and sit on our mat. So let's take a comfortable position and just bring our feet together, opening up our hips. Now, this is a great opportunity to take a blanket and maybe take a seat so that the hips are a little bit higher. Okay, this really allows us to let our knees soften quite a bit. All right, so how close your heels are to your hips is completely up to you. All right, we really want to listen to our bodies. So if we feel any tension in one position or the other, adjust accordingly. 3 options as usual. All right, first option being inhale, relax. Exhale, press down. So really letting go. So inhaling and then exhale, lifting. Okay, you could simply hold. Or if it's in your practice and you have some nice hip and lower back flexibility, hands to the feet and fold forward. Use the arms or the elbows to press the legs open and give yourself that extra bit of stretch. Really going to be your choice. Whatever feels good for your body, whatever is going to give you a moment to rest after all of that standing work that we put in, we want to take a moment to rest. Remember to check in on your breath. Maybe you take this time to make it a little bit more smooth, even, and continuous. One or two more breaths here. So moving or flowing wherever you are. And then we'll inhale and come up. Roll those shoulders back, bring the knees together. We're going to turn on our mat. So we're going to take a moment to find the difference between our standing forward folds and our seated. So move your thighs to the side so you can find your sit bones. Hips, knees, and ankles are always going to be in alignment. If it's hard to sit up straight here, take that blanket and roll it and put it underneath your knees. Okay? Or just bring your heels closer to your hips. We're going to inhale and lift up. So curl back those toes. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold from your hips. And then relax the arms down. Remember that our forward folds are about having a nice flat back. We want to avoid that hunching and rounding of the upper back. We want to lift our heart or our chest area and then just relax our head down a little bit. How does this differ from your standing forward fold? How can we make this feel the same? That's going to be our goal. All right, releasing. Inhale, we come up. Getting a nice twist and maybe an opening of our shoulders. We're going to bring that right foot up. 2 options. We can keep that foot about a fist distance from our left leg so that we have that proper alignment. And how close you put this foot is up to you. The other option is crossing it over to the other side, which gives us a nice stretch through the glute area. Inhale, lift and lengthen nice and tall. And then if you like, you can exhale and turn and twist to the right side, keeping your hand or the inside of your elbow on your right knee. Bring your right hand behind your hips. Fingertips are going to kind of point towards the front of your mat a little bit so that we can keep our shoulders nice and relaxed. The same thing goes for how far you look. You can look to the side direction or you can turn and look behind you. Really taking the time to listen to our bodies. If that leg is crossed over, make sure that right hip is still connected to the mat. And everyone check in on that length through your spine. Are you lifting up nice and tall? Can you relax your shoulders just a little bit more? If we're in a twist, we're going to release and come across to the other side. If we're holding, we can just hold for another breath or two. Beautiful. Coming back to center, stretching out that right leg. Maybe you have to realign your sit bones. We're going to do a nice forward fold to reset our spine. So curling back your toes, hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. Inhaling, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. Remember to not round the back. Lift your heart or chest area so that we have that length through our spine. And you always have the option to bring your heels towards your hips. Beautiful. Inhale, coming up. Roll the shoulders back, and then this time left leg comes up. So again, at least a fist distance between your foot and your right leg. How far that foot comes up is dependent on your hip flexibility and if you can still sit up nice and tall. That other option being to cross it over to the other side. Lift up nice and tall. Connect both hips to the ground so we get that nice stretch around the glute area. Lift and lengthen, and then exhale, turn and twist if you'd like. Left hand comes to the side. Fingertips are kind of pointing at an angle so that we can relax both shoulders down. Remember, how far you turn your head is up to you. If we ever feel any sort of pain or uncomfortable feelings, we want to immediately ease off of any pose. Twists are a great way to check in on your breath. As you inhale, is your abdomen expanding into your thigh? And as you exhale, it should draw away as the navel comes closer to your spine. Taking a couple more breaths. Letting go of any tension you might feel in the body. And then we'll come across to the other side. So releasing that, or just holding if you were lifting up nice and tall. Arms come across to the other side. Nice, gentle counter twist. And then we'll release. Come back to center. Unwrap those legs. Check in, hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. Curl back those toes. Lift up nice and tall. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold forward. You might notice now that you can reach a little bit further. Lower back has a little bit more open feeling to it. And then release. Inhale, coming up. Roll those shoulders back. Let's bring our feet together one more time. So maybe this time you choose a different variation. So if they were really close to your hips, this time draw them away. Again, if you ever feel anything that pinching, anything like that, just release or change the position. Inhale, lengthen through the spine. And then you can hold or you can exhale and push the legs down and then inhale and release. So wherever you are, just taking a few breaths, trying to find an opening of our hips here. You might notice now that we changed the foot direction or the foot placement, it's changed a little bit with how far you can fold forward. Nice deep breath. And then we'll release. Inhale, coming up. We'll draw the knees together and we're going to come onto our hands and knees for a moment. Now, if you want extra padding, take that blanket and unfold it and place it under your knee. We're going to move nice and slow here. Giving yourself that moment to adjust. First and foremost, we're going to come into child's pose. So you can have your knees and hips in line, or if you want a little bit more hip opening, knees go out to the edge of your mat and toes come together. Shooting your hips towards your heels. We're going to lengthen through our arms this time. So a little bit more of an active child's pose. So reaching out and letting your torso hang. Now, if the head does not reach the mat, we can take blocks or pillows to adjust, or if you want, stack your fists so that you have a place to rest your forehead, and then you can relax everything quite a bit. But if you can reach and extend the arms a little bit, you're going to find a nice stretch through the shoulder blades here. And again, take a moment to focus on your breath, and with each inhale, feel the abdomen expand into the thighs. With these more passive pose, we want to see where we can release any tension we're feeling in our body. Use the cue of the forehead on the mat or your palms to release the space between the eyes, to relax a little bit more. On your next inhale, we'll slowly come up. So we'll draw the hands to the shoulders, and then we'll inhale and come up. Nice and slow. Everyone's going to bring those knees so they're in line with the hips. We're going to come into threading the needle in just a moment, but we're going to warm up our spine a little bit first. So hips and knees in line, wrists and shoulders. Remember, when our hands are on the mat, we want to spread them nice and wide. Push out of your shoulders, unlock the arms, and we're going to inhale and look up, relax the spine, tilt the hips. Exhale, chin to chest, navel to spine, hunching and rounding the back. So moving with your own breath, looking up and back. Now we always have multiple options here. We can continue with this cat and cow variation, really stretching through the shoulder area, or we can tilt our hips from side to side, wagging our tail per se, and finding that length through the side body. The other option is to circle the hips towards the heels and around, if that feels good, or maybe just shooting forward and back, finding length through the spine. Moving in whatever way feels really good for your body. And then taking one more nice deep breath wherever you are. And then returning to that tabletop position. So for threading the needle, we're going to lift that left arm up. We can open the chest if that feels good. And then we're going to thread that arm through. So the left palm's going to go up to the sky and across the body. So we can take a moment and readjust our right arm to come down to the forearm. And then we want to reach that left arm through as much as possible and try to come down onto our shoulders. Now, if that's really tight, we can stay on our right forearm. We could also tuck a pillow or blanket underneath our left shoulder. Our goal is to release the shoulders and open up around. Now, our right arm can be extended out long. You could have your forearm on the mat, or you can reach that arm around your body to your thigh. While you're here, I'm showing you where your hips should not be. We want to tilt them to the left side so that they're centered. Our feet are nice and relaxed on the mat. We're leaning on the left side of our face and temple area. And we're just going to take 2 more breaths here. And then to get out of this pose, we're going to draw our right palm towards our face and then press up nice and slowly. And we're going to come back to child's pose. So we're going to extend both arms out and then bring our hips towards our heels. Now, if you want that active version, having those arms extended nice and long is great, or just relax the arms and take a breath or two here. And then we'll inhale and come up onto our hands and knees again. And then again, you can lift your arm up a little bit or open that chest up a lot. And then right palm goes through. So palm faces up. And again, if it's hard to come down onto the shoulder, lean on your right forearm first. Reach out with that left arm so you can put the weight on the left arm and then come down onto the shoulder, making it a few parts there. However we need to get there, we're using the weight of our body to kind of help open our shoulders. You can extend that right or left arm out long, have it on the forearm, or wrap it around the body to reach for your right thigh. Check in on your hips. Can you shoot your right hip to the side a little bit so they're nice and level? That'll give you a little bit more stretch around that right shoulder. 2 more breaths here. And then release. Draw that left palm towards your face, coming up nice and slow, and then back into child's pose. So releasing those arms out, hips to heels. And again, if you'd like a more active version, reaching those arms out. You could also bring your palms around towards your feet so that your palms face the sky. Third option being bending at the elbows. So bring the palms together and then bend the elbows so that the thumbs come towards the base of the skull. You might feel a nice stretch through the tricep area here. Wherever you are, we're going to take a few more breaths to relax fully. And then we're going to inhale and come up. We're going to bring our wrists under our shoulders, our knees under our hips. One more time, engaging our core. We're just going to kick our right leg out. So bringing our toes towards the ground. Try to have all your toes touch on the mat. So take a moment and spread your toes wide. And then we're going to push out of our palms and push into our right heel, finding a nice stretch through the calf and hamstring area. So try to feel even pressure on the ball of your right foot, so from side to side, so that we get a beautiful even stretch through the back of our leg here. Remember to push out of your shoulders, unlock your elbows, and then release. Come back to hands and knees, and then we're going to bring that left leg back. So pushing that left leg behind you, toes hit the ground, really spread them wide. Find a nice stretch through your whole foot and the back of your leg here. So press out of your palms, pushing back into that left heel. Two more breaths. And then we'll release, coming back to center. We're going to come and lay on our backs with our knees up. So however you want to get there, moving nice and slow. If you have a blanket, we're going to move that to the side. Taking a rest for a moment. The knees up. If you want that extra core, you can always go down nice and slow. 2 options, well, 3 options. If you want to work on opening your hips, we can bring the base of our feet together and have our knees butterflied open. If you feel any discomfort in the lower back there, we're going to bring those knees back up and we can have our hips, knees, and ankles in alignment, or bring our feet out to the edge of our mat and knees hang in towards the center. Wherever you are, taking a few breaths, having the palms in a position that really feels comfortable. So be that hands on the belly, palms open to the sky with some space between your arms and the side of your body. Or if your knees are open to the ground, feet together, you can mirror that position with the arms overhead. Just taking a moment, allowing our body to relax fully after all of that opening we just did. And then if the knees are open, we can bring our palms to our thighs to help bring them up. Everyone's going to make their hips, knees, and ankles in alignment. And we're going to work on those figure fours, opening up the hip and glute area. Extend that right leg out nice and long, lift it up overhead, and then take the ankle across to the left knee. Our right knee should be pressing towards the front of your mat. That allows us to feel that opening here. The other options are to lift that left leg up off the ground, drawing the knee towards the chest, and then bring the hands behind the knee. We can have our leg relaxed or try to keep our shin parallel to the ground or extend that left leg up overhead. The other option is, in order to keep our head, neck, and shoulders nice and relaxed on the ground, we can use a strap, belt, or small towel. Bring that behind your knee and then pull that left knee towards your chest by using that strap or belt. It's really going to be up to you. Always listening to our bodies, really trying to relax the head, neck, and shoulders here. The more you push that right knee towards the front of your mat, the more you'll feel it through your hip. If you have that left knee up and you're pulling it towards the chest, then you can increase that feeling around the outside of the glutes. We'll take 2 more breaths here. And then if that left leg is extended, we're going to bend the knee, release the arms if we had that knee up, foot hits the ground, and then everyone extends that right leg out together. Nice and long, and then lift it back up. Let the foot hit the ground. Check in on your spine. Are you nice and level? And then extend that left leg out nice and long. Lift the leg up, and then ankle across to the right knee, and think about pressing that left knee towards the front of your mat. Again, we can stay here with that right foot on the ground or lift that right leg up. Draw the knee towards your chest. Hands behind the knee or that strap or towel. You can have the right leg relaxed so that the heel is falling towards the hip. You could engage the leg by having it level to the ground or stretch out the back of the leg by drawing the heel up towards the sky. Wherever you are, check in on the head, neck, and shoulders. Are you nice and relaxed? Our chin should actually be lifted slightly towards the sky so that our neck is in a nice neutral position. Remember, we can always change between which variation we chose. And then we'll release. So bending that right leg if it's up, releasing the arms if the knees towards the chest, foot hits the ground. Everyone extends that left leg out nice and long. Take the right leg out to meet it. Reach the arms overhead. Nice stretch through the front of the body here. And then release. We're going to insert some quick twists here. So lifting those knees up. Arms out like a T, pressing into the palms and shoulders. Or bending at the elbows. Palms come up towards the face and the palms face the sky. It's up to you, choosing your favorite variation, or join me in lifting the hips, move them a little bit to one side. Knees go to the chest and then across to the opposite direction. Remember, our goal here is to have our hips stacked vertically. That's going to allow us to get the most out of this twist. Allow your opposite shoulder to peel up off the mat slightly. You can have your head in that neutral position or complete that full spinal twist by looking the opposite way. It's really going to be up to you with how you feel with your head, neck, and shoulders. One more breath here. And then we'll move to the other side. So coming back to center, you can pause, lift those hips and bring the knees to the chest if that feels good. Stretching out through the lower back. Up to you. Taking that moment, resetting your position, whichever arms you chose and whichever twist variation. I'm going to lift the hips and then move those knees up and across the opposite side. Again, knees go one direction, peel that other shoulder up off the mat so you can allow your hips to stack as much as possible. Again, there's that option to turn and look the other way. It's really going to be up to you and how you feel today. And then we'll slowly come back to center. Moving nice and slow, realign your position. Draw those knees into the chest, hug them in nice and tight. And then stretch out those legs nice and long. Remember, the feet are at least hips distance apart, maybe a little bit more. Feet are going to dangle to the side. Palms open to the sky, having some space between the arms and the side of your body. Chin slightly lifted, allowing our neck to be neutral. Remembering that this pose is just as important as everything else. We're going to take a moment here to enjoy. Resting the eyes, relax the space between them as you relax the jaw, neck, and shoulders. Let the limbs feel heavy into the earth as your feet dangle to the side. And allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm. Remember, it's natural for your mind to wander. We just want to keep drawing our focus back to our breath. And if that ever causes any uncomfortable feelings, we can envision something that we love. We could look at something that brings us joy. We could also bring one hand to the heart and one to the belly to focus in on that natural rise and fall of the abdomen with each inhale and exhale. This couple of minutes is key to our practice, to letting our bodies reabsorb all of the energy we've moved around. Giving ourselves a moment to rest, no other way. This is a special moment in our practice, and I encourage you to really try and enjoy every second. Just a few more breaths, relaxing the mind and the body. And then we'll start by wiggling the fingers and the toes, rolling the wrists and the ankles, lifting the arms overhead like it's first thing in the morning, finding length from the fingers down to the toes. And then we'll lift one knee and then the other. So we can lift our hips and move them to one side and roll over to the other. I encourage you to pause here as long as feels necessary. And then we'll eventually use that top arm to push up into a seated position. Moving at your own pace. Lifting through the crown of the head. We can roll the shoulders back if that feels good. We could take a moment and circle one direction and then the other. And then we'll come back to center, letting a smile wash over. We'll inhale and lift the arms up overhead, bringing the palms together and then down in front of the heart. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste. Thank you, everyone.
Namaste.
Thank you, Cheryl. Have a good
Thank you.
weekend.
You can let him in, Paul. Oh, have a great weekend. And if I don't see you, happy Thanksgiving. If you want to see a smiling little face, there'll be one incoming in just a second. Who's that?
Oh.
Say hello. Hi. Hudson has to come in for that last bit of class. Oh, did you say hello?
Hello.
Hello. That was his first hello. Oh, thank you, everyone. Yes, wonderful Thanksgiving. The recordings are on YouTube. So I post them here, and here's that link. If you search for Lady Tai Chi, I know that's slightly confusing. I teach a ton of Tai Chi as well. There is a playlist with all of the yoga classes on them. Did you get it, Cynthia? Let me know. Yeah, they're on there.
I use those on Sunday.
Nice. On the day you're not doing something else. I love it.
Yeah.
Sunday is our day to surf mostly. Yeah.
Hey, Hudson. Wow.
Are you waving? Can you wave? Oh, it's his favorite thing right now. And we got the puppy, right? We got everyone here. Dad does a great job with them, right?
Yes, yes.
You wouldn't even know they're here most of the time. All right. Any questions?
Cheryl.
You're welcome. I love seeing you. It was a little hot in my house. That's why you see me with a tank top. Woo, and it's winter here. All right.
Thank
Until
you.
next week, everyone. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.